Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for joining these trainings. I enjoy doing them myself. And uh, this week, what we wanted to do was share with you from some of our allos that have been with us for a while. Well, Rachel specifically, she's been with me now for, we partnered up, I think, right after the market crash. We started working together and
Yeah.
she's been,
2009.
yeah, she's been on, showing up on the top charts of Equity Smart, in closings. And this week's topic, I wanted to talk about um, ideas, different ways that we're getting business right now. I know it's a little tough. Rates are going to start coming down soon. That's what we're all expecting. But in the meantime, we still have to hustle. We still have to grind. We still have to go out there and get clients. And what better way than to share amongst each other what we're doing, what works for us, for you, and there's a lot of different ways. I mean, you can, if we get into a conversation or a dialogue about how to go and get business, there's many different ways that you can approach this, right? Topic. But someone that's doing really well right now is Rachel. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rachel. So thank you, Rachel, for being on the call with us. And
Gosh, thank you for having me.
yes.
Thank
So
you.
why don't we start with sharing a little bit of background how you and I started working together, and then we'll bring you up to speed. Then I'll go ahead and ask you some questions that I've been wanting to ask you.
Okay. Yeah. So I how we ended up together, um, I feel that it was literally God at the wheel. I was going through a really rough time, and I had a beautiful office, but it all came crashing down. Not due to the market, just other reasons. And I had a friend who knew Pablo, who introduced me to Pablo. I felt broken. I felt like I had lost everything. And I think I canceled a couple of appointments to meet you. My friend was really pushy. And
Hmm.
this friend was Theo, remember? Theo
Yes, yes,
Sandoval, my best
yes.
friend. And she finally got us together at a new office that I had opened in Montebello, and loved you from the get-go. You were, you didn't judge anything that I had been through. It was just like a match made in heaven because you were non-judgmental. You believed in me, and that was the start. I always tell people I get a lot of phone calls throughout the month of from recruiters. And I always just laugh and I think like if like no way I would leave my broker. Like it- you were a stepping stone in my life that where I'm at right now it's because you believed in me, because you didn't judge me. So and you've been consistent with that. You also were operating at a smaller scale, but I've seen you grow and I've grown with you. Um, And it's been because you've been consistently the same hardworking, humble, and true to your word man. You didn't change as you became successful. You've been the same. And I'm sure people that know you as long as I do or longer than I do feel the exact same way. So when I get recruited, it's like, absolutely not. Like, I wouldn't, nothing's broken. There's nothing to fix here. I'm so grateful that I am.
Did we lose her? Rachel, you there? Oh,
Um,
okay.
Okay.
anything. But that's how we met, going through a really rough time. You believed in me and
This
you were
was
my
in
stepping stone.
this was in what year was it? 2000, like 9,
This was
10?
in 2009. The market had already crashed. And I had just opened an office. And by the way, just really quick, let me throw this in there. I outfitted this office, paid a full year rent because I believed in myself, because you believed in me. Theo believed in me, paid a whole year's rent. And then one day, Theo calls me and she's like, Ray, are you moving? I'm like, no. She's like, there's a writer truck outside your office loading up everything. So there, like another hurdle right there. I just came out of one. I went into that office believing in myself just to, in I think about less than 30 days, somebody going and loading it up and taking it away from me. But that didn't stop me. I kept on going. But that was the beginning of you and I, you
Yeah.
believing in me. And I was afraid to tell you, like, oh my God, that beautiful office you just came to. I think when you came, we were still doing a lot of painting and flooring and stuff. Um, I was afraid to tell you, like, that office is gone, but I did, and you still didn't judge me. Like, you just have never judged me. You've always believed in me, no matter
Yes.
how crazy what I would tell you I'm going through. You never judged me. You helped me. You supported me.
Yes, and thank you so much for the support and belief. And I know we've been through a lot. I mean, it's just crazy because the time just flies so fast. And
Yes.
here we are, here we are now, and you're doing really well. And I'm glad you shared that because I want to I want the loan officers on this call to see that we're human, we bleed, we go through pain, we go through struggle,
Yeah.
and in the midst of all that, we're able to still originate and stay focused. And something that you've done. And
Hmm.
when I see you moving up in the ranks, and I'm sharing the ranks on the screen so the guys could see that you're pretty much doing pretty well. And in times right now that are there a lot of LOs are struggling and looking for ideas and ways that they themselves can lift themselves up. And so just wanted to ask, what are you doing right now, or what ideas, or what and a lot of people I know believe that, or maybe think that we're going to give them an answer that's going to solve everything and they're going to be able to close a lot of loans next month. I know you're more of a long-term loan officer, like you've managed relationships long
Hmm.
term, things that took you a while to develop, nothing overnight. But we'd like to hear from you. If you want to share that with us, that would be great.
Yes, yes. And actually, you're right. The relationships are now. I like I tell my kids, like, I don't have to go door knocking. I don't have the business comes to me. Yeah, that was seeds that I planted years ago. Um, but if I knew then what I know now, it would have taken me a lot less time. Um, and a lot of the times when you're life and working, you don't think about planting seeds for next year or the following year, or looking at the big picture, like, where do I want to be in 5 years? You've got to look at that, because if you do that, you will know that the simple things that you do today will pay off. So setting those goals and knowing that you're like going, I used to hate going door knocking. It's like, oh my God, what a waste. Like, I'm still going to be broke at the end of the month, because even if I opened escrow, I'm not going to see that for like 30 days. What's the point of going door knocking right now? But no, you can't look at it like that. Like, you have to plant those seeds, whatever um, you do today. If you're doing it in a positive way with good intention, you're going to see the fruits of that. And the sooner you start doing it, the sooner you see them. And it's nobody can take that away. You just got to plant those seeds, and they're going to come to fruition. So there are, I know we're limited on time, so I had to think over the weekend, like, what are the main things that I want to share that have made a difference for me? And whoever's listening to this or will listen to this, they already know the business. So I'm not going to focus on to make sure you dot this and cross that, and your numbers are right. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on what I do to plant my seeds. And I have an Excel sheet where I have all my transactions that are going to be closing February, March, April. I have transactions right now that are not closing till June. I don't care. That's my June money. I've set that goal. So the first thing is building relationships. When they say it takes a village to close a transaction, truly it does. But that is such a huge opportunity to shine with so many people. So the first thing is acknowledging everybody, making sure I'm polite to everybody. I'm not representing just the buyer's side where I have to be combative with the seller's side. I'm not demanding. I'm not throwing my weight around. Do you know who I am? I'm going to close this. Don't worry. Don't ask me questions because look at my record. Go Google me. No. I enter that transaction thinking, geez, a TC on each side. I've got an escrow officer, escrow assistant, title. I need to impress everybody. All those people are a window of opportunity for me to show my value.
And
All of
really
them.
quick, Rachel, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just you are dual licensed, right? You're doing both real estate and loans, just so everyone on the call
Yeah.
knows that.
Yes, I do. I do
Yeah.
focus more on loans, but I'm ready to go with real estate when needed, and I do. So knowing, having that license really helps because my title, if I do step into sometimes the real estate part of things with contingencies or so, and I'll tell you about that. It helps to have my title and my license listed, and backing it up with the knowledge. Mm. Now, everybody on that escrow, again, is a chance to make a connection through communication, through transparency, meeting timelines on the contract, keeping everybody informed on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, the ugly too. So when I'm doing a loan, I keep an automatic timeline that everybody gets, and it shows FHA appraisal, FHA number ordered, appraisal ordered, disclosed, buyer acknowledged disclosures, evidence of insurance. CPL, like they see, and I get a lot of feedback on that where they're like, "Oh my God, thank you." It eliminates a lot of back and forth with like, "Can you give us loan status?" They can clearly see on my automatic timeline where we're at every moment. That helps a lot. If there's a problem that arises, I immediately inform everybody, including the other party, because I find that if I'm very honest and I tell them, listen, we came upon a snag, but don't worry, we're working through it, they really appreciate that. So not always painting a picture that everything's okay, don't worry about it. And gosh, does that take stress away from me, knowing that I'm not hiding a material fact regarding the buyer or the loan or anything. So that um, communication and building those relationships, the communication builds the relationship. By the end of this transaction, I get so many, oh my God, like, would you be able to work with my buyers? Can I call you for pre-calls? Can I call you? Can I send you a buyer? Never fails. Building those relationships through that escrow is step one for me. I love when we open a new escrow because it's like, I'm going to build a relationship here, or two or three.
So Rachel, just so that I'm understanding, what I'm getting from you is that you've turned into this person that's customer service oriented, full of integrity, and
Massive.
and
Yes.
no matter who's watching or no one's watching, your behavior, your demeanor carries throughout this way throughout transaction, and then it just kind of shines throughout everyone that you're working with, and that act alone of being committed to the transaction in such a way is what draws in more attention to you and gives you more opportunities. Is that pretty
You
much
got it. You
okay?
got it right on. Yeah. And it makes my agent shine. Whoever did bring me into this transaction, it makes them shine. So I always tell my agents when they initially contact me to vet me, it's like, trust me, I'm going to make you shine. Because through that communication, through that transparency, they're afraid sometimes to ask for an extension. I've built such a good relationship with the other side already that, girl, we got this. You're going to get the extension. That relationship matters. We're not on pins and needles. We're not stressing. There's communication on every side. And it all starts with me starting it. That's just where the biggest value comes in, to earn the trust from all parties, especially the listing side if I'm doing a loan. They trust me. And a lot of times I do get with new agents, they'll say, had it not been for you, we would have canceled a long time ago. I, I value that. I pat myself on the back for that. I don't need to go repeat it to anybody in the middle of the transaction, but I know that my efforts, my communication, and my transparency did it. Shining, getting a loan CTC in 10 days. Who does that, right? Getting a CTC at initial submission. Who does that? Once I vet the file that they're going to give me, and I tell when they're calling me to cross qualify or calling me to find out about the offer that they accepted, I already know my buyer, and I can tell that agent, yes, we're signing off on appraisal contingency. Yes, we're doing long contingency in 10 days. Yes, we're going to close in 20 days. when I say it's going to be done, I've already vetted that buyer. I've pre-qualified that buyer. I have a full file, and I know we're going to do it. So I cannot not keep my word. And as they see that automatic timeline just moving and moving closer to the closing, they, if something did happen, the appraisal doesn't come in at value, or if something happens out of our control, the insurance company is not giving us the evidence quick, or if something happens that's out of our control, everybody understands at that point because they've already seen the activity and the action and things moving. So that communication with everyone is crucial.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And just so you guys have a little background, Rachel's also, while she's handling all this, she has a family you're taking care of, right, Rachel?
Yes, I've always had a really large family, 7 kids. Um, and I won't ponder on this too much, but I have had to take care of sick people. It hasn't stopped, but it still hasn't hindered me from having my balance between work and home.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, it hasn't. I call it life. I mean, life happens,
Yeah, and
and
I think it was important to bring that up so that the agents that are listening on the call, they understand
mhm,
that we're, like I said earlier, we're human. We go through problems, we go through things, and how are you able to switch from when you're going through some turmoil and then going back to that happy customer service oriented person? Is it
yeah,
something that you just practiced over time, or?
no, no, I think, and it's all about balance, Pablo, because I don't know how much I should share, but I can tell you, I'll share this really quick. I was a very active agent, out in the field and going to, meet clients and the lunches and everything. Excuse me. And then elderly parent gets sick, and I have to take on taking care of my mom. Um, And you remember this part of my life, Pablo, where I had to stop going out in the field. I had to start working from home. And while I'm taking care of my mom, and people that have never been through something like that, I'm older. I'm going to be 54 in April. If you're, 30s, 40s, you haven't experienced this yet. Um, but it will come at some point in your life. Inevitably, you'll have to deal with somebody sick in your life. And so I'm literally like not able to go out anymore to I have to take care of my mom. I had to start doing alternative things, like cold calling, getting a list from title, going through old files, begging, my realtor friends, like, hey, let me try to, help you, or whatever I could do, because now I'm at home. So I'm taking care of an elderly who is terminal on top of that, and trying to, um, come up with the money to make it through the month without having to ask my mom for anything, or not even time to apply for help, or just what is that saying, like, fight for flight, or like where you just wake up and you're like, I got to do this, I got to do this, but today I can't fail, I can't let her down, I got to take care of her ouchies, whatever I got to do. So that was a very, very difficult time where I had to balance, like, being in a good mood, in front of her, in front of the kids, and taking care of everything throughout the day, making sure I had some money planted for the next month or whatever. Um, and then at the end of the night, like, you don't even have time to think about it, or dwell on what you just went through, because you just need to go to sleep and do it again the next day. So I think it's just, we all have that in us, but until you go through it, you just like, now I think, how did I do it? How did I do that? I think it's in us. It's just until you actually go through it, like, you don't realize that you have that strength, you
Yeah,
know?
I do. That reminds me of one of the presentations that I do where I talk about people going to listen to motivational speeches and all that, and at the end not really walking away with something because you really have to have a burning desire. You have to have something that is pushing you inside. And sometimes we have things that happen to us, where a family member is sick and we have to be the provider, and it forces us into that situation. And what I try to do in that presentation is I try to trick people into creating something. Like if they don't have a situation that's tough, they have a comfortable life, and that no one's really pushing them. They have rich parents or whatever the circumstance may be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you got to create a situation where it's life or death type, where like if you know you
Yes.
if you don't get a loan today, something terrible is going to happen the next day, and some of us are faced with real life situations and we're forced to act. And if you don't have that, you can replace that with something that you can create for yourself and say, hey, if I don't do this by the end of the month, this is going to happen.
Oh, let me tell you, I've
Yeah.
done that. It's still, let me tell you what I do. I move all my money out of my account. I get it out. I'm broke. I am,
That's a
yeah,
good one.
I'm broke. So, it's the 15th of the month. I've got payments on the first. I've got the cars, the insurance, our RV, everything's due on the first of the month. And my account literally has $1,200. What am I going to do? Okay, so if push comes to shove, well, I see all my transactions that are supposed to be closing. Some of them are moved to the next month, and I just think, okay, I might have to go borrow, you know. And then my kids will tell me like, oh, my kids, thank God, are never on me about, oh, I want this, I want that, or no, they earn their own money. They have to do their work to earn it. But if I do hear them say like, oh, I'm saving for this and, I'm almost there, I'm broke. I wish I could help you. And then I might have that conversation where, hey, I noticed you only have $300 left in your account and your car payments due. I don't have money to loan you, so you need to get some overtime or whatever, or you need to sit with me and help me to earn the money so you can get your car payment. But I'm broke, so don't depend on me, because that is what I do. I create that flight for life and that risk that you were just mentioning, where I push on all my money out. If not, I'm not gonna have. If I close a month where I did over 100,000 in a month, why do I want to work the next month? Right? I do, because
Yeah,
I
you
want
can get,
more.
yeah, you can easily get comfortable. And I think Grant Cardone talks about that too. So that,
Yeah,
try to,
you can
don't
easily
keep too
get
much money
comfortable.
in your account, because my suggestion would be to invest it, buy homes, flip
Yes.
properties or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
if you
yeah,
leave it there and you look at it, it's like, and it's really funny because you end the month and you see, oh my God, I did that. But then the first of the month starts and the hustle doesn't stop. Not if you, not if you don't want it to. Like you got to keep going. You got to keep going. That money, it's sitting there, but you've got to move on to the next month. Not only the fact that you already have all your pipeline set for that following month. What are you supposed to do? The pipeline can go to hell because I already killed it last month. No, you got to keep going. So one of the things that I wanted to share regarding the balance that we were talking about is that one thing that I have always had, and this is a trait that I've had always, I do not do negative people. I do not do negative people. And everybody in my house knows, when you walk in the door, if you encounter me on the stairs or in the kitchen, if you have a crappy looking face, you need to get out of my face. I don't deal with negative people. If I can wake up and be the most positive person in the room after everything I just went through the day before, the night before, and that morning, caring for a sick person, then you better have a good outlook on this day today. I'm not doing negative. And everybody here knows that. So in I've realized that through life, I never really had a choice but to be that positive person, which is okay. I'm now grateful for that. At some point, maybe I might have thought, oh, why me? No, now it's like, thank you. Thank you. That had to be me. That shaped and molded me for waking up every morning ready to go and not carrying on whatever is waiting for me at the end of the day throughout my day. I now have my partner had a liver transplant in 2021, December. All of 21 and 20 was very difficult. When you have a person with liver cancer who is waiting on a liver and literally every day dying on you, every day. you're talking, you have to keep them so balanced. You have to keep them, their blood pressure up, their sugar levels down. So many things, that he doesn't go into a coma, which he did. I mean, ambulances left and right, hospitals, a liver's available. Now it's not available. And, very challenging. And I don't know how I did it with my laptop working from wherever I was. Well, I did have help from my team, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But nevertheless, even though I have a team, I am the decision maker. I am the one that if something went wrong, it would all come down on me. Right? It doesn't matter if you have an army of 10. Like everybody wants to know who is responsible at the end of the day. So going through that in 21 was extremely challenging. But when I sat at my desk, I still took my calls. I still built relationships. I still did everything I could to make myself shine through those initial escrow opening emails and throughout, and making my agents shine that trusted me with their deal. Not letting the ones down that have already been working with me for some time. They deserve the very same motivation from me that the new ones do. I'm still having to impress them too, not just the new ones. Very difficult. Now, we had a really good year in 22, my partner on his way to recovery. And then guess what? December of this year, cancer is back. Both adrenal glands have to go. Both adrenal glands. This is everything all over again. He's recovering now slowly. It's every day, I have to be involved in his everyday care, his medications, but I still killed it for 23. So how with balance? If I have to be the most positive person in the room, then that's just what I'm going to have to do. And I am adapting. I know that not every day is the same. In fact, in my world, it's never the same. I could start off where it's like, are you feeling okay? Yes. Okay, let's do this. What do you want to eat? And the next thing you know, it's a crash. And, that can't dictate my day. I know I have to remind myself that the minutes, the hours are ticking, and there's people depending on me outside of this home. And I have to adapt to the tone of the day and still be positive so I can be responsible, reliable, dependable, accountable to everybody out there. Because at the end of the day, they don't care what I went through last night or in the morning. And I am producing a lot. And I thank God that he gives me the strength and the positivity and the mindset to get through every day. Because if not, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd be where I'm at. Nobody's here cheering me on. Nobody's here patting me on the back. Like, of course my family does, but what I'm saying, I'm not in an environment where I work with like 20 people where when I walk in, they're my motivation and my cheerleaders. Cause that would make a difference. Like, oh my God, they're all looking at me and I got to do something good today. No, I'm in a situation working from home where it's very easy for me to say, not today. I'm going to go sleep. Not today. I'm going to put an automatic reply on my email that not today. But I don't do that. I need to keep going. And it's not even so much about the money at this point. It's about I'm not going to fold. And I can't show the people around me, my immediate family, that I folded because you know how easy it would be for them to if I do? So not happening. So adapting to that day is crucial. This is very important. How do I keep that balance with everything going on? This is something so simple. And, I'm going to be 54, so maybe it's necessary for me to do this. A to-do list. I have so many files on my desk. I have so many things. I have, my team who does.
I think you muted yourself, Rachel.
And I have to have a to-do before the end of the day. I need to know where I'm going to start the next day. By Friday afternoon, I need to know where I'm going to start on Monday. I can't be panicking on Monday or dwelling on it over the weekend. Gosh, did I do that? Where am I going to pick up? I would be so overwhelmed. So part of my everyday ritual is making sure I have my to-do list. What do I need to do? What is most important? I need to prioritize. I need to be
Oh, yeah, I think you're out again, Rachel.
organized. I wouldn't know where to start. Probably waste a good 15, 20 minutes, which is a lot of time to waste on sorting out where did I leave off. So be organized. I don't care if you have 2 files or you have 20. Knowing where you're at is crucial. You get that phone call, hey, what happened to my hey, can we remove the loan contingency? On what? Let me look at when was it? No, you need to know where to find that ASAP. That's how you shine. That's how your agents trust you, which takes me to educating yourself on more than just the loans. If you're not a real estate agent, grab a contract, get familiar with where contingencies are listed, get familiar with forms. I can't tell you how much having that background on real estate has helped me. Listen, when I do a loan for a real estate agent, they're mine. They're not going anywhere. I'm irreplaceable. The benefit I bring to them is unmatched. Nobody's going to be able to give them a second set of eyes. A lot of the agents I work with, believe it or not, they themselves are not confident with their work. I used to complain. At one point, I used to say, gosh, like, how did they get their license? They're depending on me. Oh my God, how annoying. But you know what? If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to shine, right? So I'm not going to complain. I'm going to happily help them and point out things. Hey, you forgot this contingency. Hey, you forgot this. And being a part in helping them and being that second set of eyes earns me their business 100%. So I get very involved. Um, when I do my automatic timeline, I don't just do loan information on it. I break it down. The loan contingencies due, fiscal inspection, appraisal contingency, deposit is due on this day, the home inspection was done on that day. I break it all down to make it easy for them as well. So being knowledgeable on the contract side, sometimes they might be on the road and they say, hey, look at the contract. Can you tell me when I said that this would be due? I don't want to be scrambling. I'm going to open my timeline and tell them right away. Being knowledgeable, take a little bit of time to go through a contract. I'm training my youngest daughter right now, and she can read a contract. If she can do it, somebody licensed should be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Rachel, thank you so much for that because when I was a rookie loan officer myself, I used to print like the guidelines, take them home with me because no one was really taking the time to teach me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you got to take that initiative on your own. And I know a lot of you guys that are coming and joining us are taking that initiative. I see that, and that goes a long ways, And from Rachel's story, because we're gonna wrap it up probably like in the next 5 minutes, because I do want to use the rest of the remainder of the time to share some ideas. And Rachel, you can share with us some things that you can be doing right now, right? In
Mm-hmm.
terms of going out and getting business.
Mm-hmm.
But what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. We're talking about the training, the
To
printing out.
educate yourself on real estate documents and be a part of helping look at potential flags that you can be able to tell your realtor, like, hey, I noticed that you didn't mark who pays for the home warranty. They're going to appreciate that so much. Don't just look at the purchase price and how many days they're going to close. Go through the whole contract. You might catch a missing initial. You might catch something, and they're going to be like, whoa, you're very thorough, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And this is actually what I wanted to say, and one of the things that I try to say, about the name of the company is Equity Smart Home Loans, right? And when we think of that, we talk about building equity in properties and helping our customers build equity. But one thing I'm listening to when Rachel speaks and when I'm working, when I see Steve working, when I see some of the veteran loan officers working is that we've also built equity in ourselves, you know, in terms of
Mhm.
the years that we invested doing this. And when we're talking and you hear Rachel talking, it's almost like second nature. It's like riding a bike. She can jump on a file and she could probably be thinking about what's for dinner and you know, going through the whole file and doing all at the same time. I'm correct, right, Rachel?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that you're going to develop yourself into. That's going to come automatically as you close more and more deals, and you're going to be able to provide that excellent service, and you're going to jump from one role to another role and do it rather quickly because you understand that you're performing. We're all performing, right? When we're talking to bars, it's a performance, and the quicker you get attuned to
Yes.
that, the quicker you can start sharpening yourself because you can take a hard look at yourself and see what areas you need to start uh, in terms of sharpening yourself. So let's move over, Rachel, to maybe name two or three things that agents can be doing right now that maybe I know that you've got your book of business now and that's how you're
Yeah.
working that and you're probably getting more deals out of that. But for someone like, someone that's younger, newer and
Mhm.
thinking about, getting business, what is something that they can be doing right now that you could see would work for them?
Okay. So, of course, the communication part, and that's crucial. We already know that. Now, when you have somebody that tells you, "Hey, I have a loan," okay, take it very seriously. Don't just be like, "Oh, well, what's their FICO? Oh, well, what's this? Oh, what's that?" Okay, can we get them on the phone? Okay, but what I'm trying to get at is you need an opportunity for a good review for somebody talking to you, even if that loan's not going to pan out, even if all you're doing is giving them advice, like, hey, you really need to increase your FICO, you need to get authorized on an account, you need to get some trade lines, you take that call that client. I don't care if they tell you, but their FICO's 523. If you're new, you got to start planting seeds. You've got to start getting people talking about you. So I don't care how bad that scenario looks, take it, talk to them. Everybody has a story. Listen to them. Listen to that client that the agent referred you to. Hey, can you talk to my buyer or whoever? Yes. No, don't say no, it's not worth it. They have a 580 FICO. Like, what the hell? Like, no, no, yes, talk to them because that's how you're going to get people to start vouching for you. Oh my God, my client was so happy that you explained everything to them. You didn't rush them. They were so happy with you. That's going to be a seed right there. If you have to send them to credit repair, maybe it's something simple. Maybe they just don't have any new trade lines. Don't give up on those people. They have a story. Listen to them. Budget the time to talk to them. Don't do it while you're driving. Don't do it while you're on the computer. Don't do it while somebody else is going to be calling you. If you're going to, my thing is when I'm going to talk to a client, I'm not the best person to sit on the phone. My partner Doris will do that. She's great at being on the phone. I myself, if I am going to be on the phone, I know I need to budget the time. I'm not going to rush them. I'm going to talk to them. And that client is going to be calling their agent and saying, thank you for referring me to Rachel. So take every call, even if it's not going to come to fruition right now, get people talking about you and saying you were great already right now.
So
So
get
that's,
so get on the
yeah,
phones basically. And I don't
yes,
mean to cut you off, but we're
yeah,
running out of time a little bit, and
yeah,
I do want to get through some of the questions that I'm seeing
yeah.
here on the chat.
Hmm. Hmm.
And anyone that's on the call here that's doing well or has something working, feel free to chime in. We want to hear from anyone that's doing anything. But the first question I see on here is from Sarah Rangel, and she's asking, can you share how you plant your seeds? Like, how do you actually like go in and actually what activities do you do to get in front of a realtor, or what have you done
Okay.
in the past that got you that initial conversation with the realtor, let's say?
I have that open communication with the realtors that I do have right now, where if they tell me I'm going to be showing homes okay, first of all, I have to have a pre-qual issued before you go look for homes. And my agents know that. Establishing my boundaries with the agents determines if I'm going to work with them or if I'm not. So I'm not going to paint a pretty picture from the get-go. I'm going to make sure that they understand. And I know, and I vet them as much as they're vetting me. If they tell me flat out, I have a full-time job and I meet my clients at 8 o'clock and I say, don't worry, I'll be available at that time, I better be available. If they tell me they're showing homes this weekend with the pre-qual that I gave them and they might be calling me to run numbers, I need to be available. If I'm cooking, I've got my laptop, I've got my phone, and I stop everything. I said I'm going to be available. I have to be available. When I'm getting a new agent and I explain to them, these are the things that I'm willing to do. I'm going to be talking to your client. I'm bilingual. I'm going to make myself available to your client Monday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I have to. I, I have to do what I say I'm going to do. Everybody wants to hear what you're going to do. I'm very replaceable. There's a lot of loan officers. I've got to do something different. I've got to make it easy for them. So letting them know this is what I can do for you and give me the opportunity to show you how much time you're going to save on your end, how you're going to be able to just go kill it after this deal that I closed for you because I'm going to make you shine. I get them motivated. I have to make them believe in me. And of course, reviews. All they have to do is go to my Google page and guess what? 5 stars. No negative reviews on my page. So I can't, just because I say I'm good doesn't mean I am. I've got to prove it, right? So everybody needs to go get a Google page. It's free and start your reviews. And that's one of those seeds. You might think, oh gosh, I only have one. Who cares? By June, you're going to have 3. And by November, you're going to have 10. So if you don't start it today, by the end of the year, you're still not going to have squat. So get a Google review page today.
That's awesome because I always promote that as well. Rose, do you have a question? I see your hand raised.
Yes, I do. Sorry, I was trying to unmute and I'm not good at it. First of all, Rachel, my whole heart is with you. I'm actually older than you, and I have gone through the same thing, basically supporting 9 family members on and off since 2000.
Right. Yeah.
Now it's less than that, much less, but lost both my parents as soon as like my mom, we knew she was going. My daughter's father has dementia to the point where he needs 24-hour care. She's
Yeah.
not working. Boyfriend got laid off in February, and so
Yeah.
like sole provider. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I've got my 10-year-old granddaughter that I'm homeschooling. So she's
Oh
with
my
me
God, girl.
24/7 because her mom is with her father, right? With my daughter's with her father, right?
So
So
you know all
I'm in
about
the
life.
same boat.
You know all
I know
about
all
life.
about
Yeah.
life. I'm also a great nurse. I will not let you die on my watch, just in case. Like if you
Yeah.
need anyone for you, I'm there. Like I'm on it. But here's my question. So I got licensed in 2020, right? And I did mostly refi, and now it's time to do purchases. But like you, it's very difficult for me to leave the home, right? And also, if I can leave the home, then I've got a childcare issue, which is also very difficult to manage, right?
Yeah.
So what would be your advice to me, not being able to get out as much as maybe other people would, that where I could do lead generation from home? What are the things that would work? And I think that would help with other people too, if they just had extra time and didn't know where to go. You know, if there wasn't an event that day, like what can we do from home to
Yeah.
generate leads, in your opinion?
We have a funny thing here because I can't remember exactly, but it was like I had to leave the house. Nobody went to get the mail. It's a joke. Like I had to leave the house, ha ha ha, because I don't leave the house. It's have I been to a Christmas party? No. I mean, I don't leave the house. Because of my situation, it's made it impossible for me to leave. So even getting to the mailbox, so it's a joke. But let me tell you, this is where a team comes in. You need to start building a team. I have a great team member, bilingual, who is the face of my business. She will go out there and meet with clients, with agents. She kills it. If you can't do it, you can't just not do it. Some clients want to meet, some agents want to meet. So you've got to start building your team. You are the decision maker. You are the one structuring. You're the one, communicating with underwriters and conditions and this and that. You're the one pricing. There's a lot you can do and that you're doing now, but you do need to start building a team where you do have that one person that's ready to go and meet with clients. You don't have to put them on a salary. You can put them on, when the loan closes. Of course, they need to be licensed, right? But if you need to start building a team. A team is very important. Just because I know how to do it all and I am the best at doing it all doesn't mean I have to do it all. I've learned to delegate. What am I the best at? What is Doris the best at? What is Cynthia the best at? Everybody is good at the best at something. I've got to delegate duties. You need to start a team.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. And
Thank you for that.
yeah, and in terms of activities, like actual activities, let's talk a little bit about that. And again, like I said, anyone can chime in, and just to kind of, just to kick that off really quick, things that you can do it, and we all know all the traditional stuff, which is door knocking, getting on the phones, getting farm packages from title companies, and going through all that. I'll share a couple of mine while, if anyone has any
I have
ideas.
one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one. Okay, so first time home buyer little get-togethers. So an agent will host at a brokerage. I have an agent right now that puts out signs, the little age signs out on the streets, and it's first time home buyers workshop. So I may need to be the one that's there for the day hosting. Of course, you're going to get a lot of people in there. And there it goes. Everybody has a story. I've got to listen. But out of there, I might get 2 good apps. And then we get maybe 2 that are going to be working on their credit. So giving yourself, the whole day to go basically, and I to me, it's dreading because, again, I don't get out very much. But if that's what I have to do, and that's what I used to do, I don't do that now. But that's what I had to do back in 2008. I'm sorry, 2010, 11, 12. Go do first-time homeowner workshops.
And you know what you can do to piggyback off of that, and just because the specific to your guys's Rose's and Rachel's situation where you guys can't really leave the house. Here's a good one that I'll share with you guys. You guys can go on Eventbrite, create free home buyer seminars that people can just attend virtually. And give that a shot, and you can also promote that in social media, the same way that we're doing this virtual meeting right now, where we're doing a training, right? But rather the audience would be people that would be buyers, and maybe you can talk about specific types of programs, how to get into a down payment assistance program, things that may strike up conversations. And one of the things that I've learned with Google, I think Google's pretty cool, is that you can see what people are asking about the mortgage industry. You can type in Google and say, what are the top 5 questions that people are Googling regarding mortgages or whatever, right?
That's great.
And you can create a topic around that if you want to just completely stay virtual. Now, if you want to venture off and do events, and I've done this myself, and it's super, super successful. It just takes a little bit of guts, but you got to do it. Is you approach big companies, and believe it or not, you can do this with Remax and some of the big companies, and
Yeah.
every so often they'll have lunch and learns, and you can go in there, talk to the manager, you can talk to them over the phone and say, hey, I'd like to schedule myself in. I want to talk about motivational things or mortgage programs or products. And then they'll gather their team in their conference room or whatever, and
Yes.
do the presentation. And by the end of the presentation, I usually have like 5 or 6 agents giving me their business cards and even giving me scenarios on the spot. And so, try to locate all the real estate offices in your area, like maybe a 3-mile vicinity. Find out who the managers are, find out who the people that are working there, find out who the people are in charge. The Jersey Mike's lunch boxes that we do for lunch, they're only like $80, and you get like 20 sandwiches, like they're cut in half or whatever. And it's enough for like, a 20-person meeting or 25-person meeting. And if I'm local and you want me to help, I'll jump in. I'll go with you, and we'll do the presentation together. There's so much.
Pablo,
Yeah.
this is what I was doing in 2010, 11, 12. Those meetings, and my budget was like $100, right? And it's like, but I would squeeze it out of somewhere. But it was so productive to help. I remember one time nobody showed up, but guess what? I was able to show the agents how to complete a 1003 so that they would know the information that I was going to need when they would refer their client to me for the loan.
And that's great that you shared that. And one of the things that I realize when I'm doing this, there's an equal amount of people that are in your situation, meaning that they're trying to get business, they're trying to hustle, they just got their real estate license, and they're attending these meetings. And you're going to get some producers, and you're going to get some people that are new, and it's a great opportunity to connect with someone that may be early on their career. We have friends. I have people that I've been doing business with for over 20 years. In fact, a lot of people that I've been working with that were realtors, partners, actually even joined Equity Smart now. But that's how long these relationships can endure and last, because
Yes.
you start working so much, you're on the phone like, almost every other day because you're working on deals, and you become friends. It's inevitable, and the cool thing is you connect with those people that you want to work with, right? But those are ideas that you can do. Is another great idea that I have for you guys is visiting banks. The loan officers inside you should know all the banks that are in your local area: East West, Chase, B of A. They all have a mortgage loan officer, and guess what? That person will always get stuck on something they cannot close because they
Mm-hmm.
don't have the products. They don't have I had one. I remember the Chase guy referred me a deal, and the only reason he couldn't do it is because the DTI was over 45%. And we can go up to like 49. I forgot what it was. And I'm like, I can't believe, I was like
I
in
know.
complete shock that he couldn't close this loan that I closed like in 5 or 10 days after he gave it to me, a complete package. And so there's a lot of opportunity out there. You just have to be in that mindset, and it's not going to cost you a lot. It's all about building those relationships. And I think that's why it's important that everything Rachel said in the beginning about having that integrity, about becoming this person of service, of value, because without that, you're not going to get to the second part, which is making those connections while you're out there doing these presentations or trying to meet agents. The other simple one is the open houses, right? We all know that you can go open houses. You have a bunch of realtors coming in through and bars, would-be bars, and you can start building your realtor pipeline. And for me to be successful, to make this as a sustainable living where I didn't have to do anything else, all I needed was about 15 agents. 15 agents, because if I cycled through 15 agents every month, only 30% or 40% were going to give me business, right? So maybe I had 20, 25, right? So that means that every month from those 20 agents, let's say it's 20, right? 5 are going to give me business. So that's 5 potential loans, right? And then from those 5 potential loans, I'm also looking at possible referrals from the people that they referred to me, right? And then next month I have another 5, and it keeps going, because the realtor
Mm-hmm.
that might be dry this month, they might not see another deal for 3 months. But since I have 20, by the time I cycle through, I'm going to get back to that other agent that hasn't given me a business. So it's always going to feel like I have a continuous pipeline of business because of the amount of realtors. So if you want to build your pipeline that way, like the way Steve has done it, the way Rachel has done it, the way a lot of us veterans have done it, you got to have a book of business, and you got to start building that now. And the great thing about that is that there's value in it. You're building equity in your book of business, because it'll be there for you for a long time, to the point where like you're going to not even have to hunt for business. People are going to just be calling and reaching out to you. But in order to even get to that stage, everything that Rachel talked about needs to happen first, which is you got to become that person of value, integrity. And I did all the same things. I would come in at 8, I would leave at 9, when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger, and I had the, with withdrawal, and I had the hunger, the desire to take myself to the next level. And that's what you got to do right now. You got to become that person first. And then once you get the agents, it's going to become a lot easier, because people are going to gravitate. They're going to want to work with you. You're going to become their go-to person.
They're going to feel safe with you.
Exactly. Anyone else want to share something? I'd like to hear from maybe someone else that, that's doing something that's kind of working for them, or is possibly working on this call.
Yeah, I started. Thank you so much again, Rachel, for being here and just sharing everything, for being really real. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Helps me realize I made the right decision too by joining Equity Smart.
Yes.
One thing I'm starting to find work is doing the stuff the real estate agents don't want to do. So for example, I've been helping 2 of my agent partners do their marketing. And it's great because every time they ask me, hey, can you get me a flyer for, first-time home buyers? Can you give me a flyer for bank statements, etc.? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll get it to you by, end of day today latest. They're like, great, cool. Here's my headshot. Here's my contact. Put our info on there. Put our info on there, right? So like I've always got a piece of myself on there with Equity Smart along with their logos, and they're out there dropping off the flyers. Like I don't even have to go with them. I offer, obviously, right? I say, hey, I can come with you. Like, oh no, it's fine. Our team leader said, they prefer to not have LOs for the day for whatever reason. So I'm giving all them the marketing stuff so that they don't have to worry about it. In fact, even though they have in-house marketing teams, sometimes they got to go through a chain of command to put the order in, wait for the order to arrive, etc. Me, I'm like an hour turnaround time, right? Because
Good
I can
job.
design it, I know all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So if for those of the LOs here, especially the newer ones like me, if you can find a way to find other pain points that the market that your agents don't like doing, like the marketing, like reaching out to their leads, you just do that for them. And I think the marketing one, like learn Canva if you can.
I love
Um,
Canva.
yeah, learn Canva really well. Abigail will be happy to help, I believe. I didn't throw her on the spot, but yeah, like utilize those resources. And even for you, like if I know nobody wants to be techie here, but if you can just learn those fundamentals, like the Canva stuff, you can do it on your own time. You can do it at 10 p.m. Send it out by 11,
And
and then they'll
yeah,
get it done the next day for the open
and
houses.
if
Yeah,
you go generate a flyer through UWM, which already has everything for you, all the legal stuff, everything, you move it over to Canva and personalize it with their information. Bam, you're literally done in 10 minutes with a
exactly.
flyer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
very nice. I do that, and also at closing, right before I'm closing, I'm already creating my closing flyer, my congratulations, and I send it to them like with their name and stars and this and that, and right there. Also, for every closing, Doris, my one in my team, will attend the delivery of keys. Remember, I don't get out of the house, but that's why I have a team. So
Awesome,
she will
awesome.
she will show up to the closing, hand them balloons, cake, a basket, a must.
Awesome, awesome. All right, we're running out of time. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing that, Rachel. Rhonda, you have something you want to share with us?
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, really quick. I just met up with the rails, a long story behind it. But he said he wanted to talk to me about co-marketing. I guess my question is, if someone can answer this in a general way, what are the expectations of costs and things that are done with co-marketing? We didn't get into a lot of details yet. He's gonna call me on Friday. And it has to do with possibly rental, DSCR loans, but what are the expectations when you do co-marketing? If someone can answer that.
I can answer that really quick. I would I mean when you're partnering with someone, there's obviously going to be you're sharing costs, which makes sense. You're splitting the cost in half. He's trying to get in front of customers, you're trying to get in front of the same customers, and it's a smart move. You could even do it 4 ways, 3 ways, 5 ways, and but just for now, you just got to get clear on what the expectations are and make sure everything is understood, and then make sure that it's a solid plan and that's going to result in fruits. You're gonna work hard at this and it makes sense. And if you like, Rhonda, when you put it together or you're close to putting it together, let me give it some review, and then I can let you know. But it's a great tool and a great way to save money, but you just got to structure it correctly. I guess that's what I'm getting at. But so let's work on that as soon as you're able to put that together. And it is 1:59. I'm gonna wrap it up and by thanking Rachel so much for joining us and sharing all that with you. I think you're real. I think everyone enjoyed that. I think a lot of times they think that top producers are superhuman and we possess these heroic powers, and no, and what you've proven to me and what you're showing us is that being a loan officer is a long-term play, and it's something that you build over time. And you guys, by even attending this, you're building a little bit of equity. It's may not be tons, but it's a little bit. But imagine day after day, year after year, as you're strengthening yourself, as you're becoming stronger, as you're getting these ideas, and you realize that it's really about training yourself to become this person that can deliver a mortgage product with an excellent experience. And that's what we're really trying to train you here. That me, Steve, Rachel, we weren't born with any natural superpowers. We were just hungry enough to own this and to take the time to become experts. This is what got us to this level. And this is what I want you guys to see, right? That's going to help you by continuously participating and growing yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can go out and, buy leads and do all these stuff, but they're not long-term plays. My trainings are always going to be focused on long-term play because I want to be 60 years old and 70, and I want to see you guys on here graying with me. But anyhow, any last words, Rachel? before we wrap it up?
The only thing that I've been just wanted to say really, really quickly, be careful what you wish for. You go get leads, you get swamped with leads. You need to have a plan and know who you are and how you're going to handle them, because otherwise it's just going to be money down the drain. So if you're not organized, disciplined, have a team, no, budget your time to give that absolute best customer service. They open an escrow, you don't reply for 5 hours because you're working leads. Like, you've got to be ready. So you've got to determine who you're going to be, what's going to be your course of action every time you get a lead, what's going to be your course of action in communication, in getting vetted, in vetting agents. Start developing your persona of who you want to be known as right now.
All right,
So that
awesome.
you're not going to get caught off guard, because you can have all the leads in the world, but if you're going to get frazzled and not work them right, it's going to be in vain.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel. Okay, so last few things before we hang up. And again, thank you so much, Rachel, for participating. I'm going to definitely
you for
invite you
having
back
me.
a few months so you can share with us more. We do have an event coming up. It's a live event in Costa Mesa. It's called Thrive. I met with Tim Story. He's an amazing speaker this Saturday. I do have a discount for you guys. It's $50 instead of the $88 at the door. It's a beautiful venue. There's going to be food. UWM is going to be there. The discount code, text me for the discount code so you guys can have it if you want to attend. I strongly recommend. We're going to have a lot of realtors out there, a lot of people that you can network, a lot of industry people. So last year was huge. It was awesome. It was very classy. We had a really good showing. So please try to make it out if you're able to. It's called Thrive. Information's on my Instagram, on my Facebook, or you can DM me or email me, text me, and I'll get you as much information as you like, and we can talk about it. I'll be speaking there also for 5, 10, 15 minutes as well. So other thing too is if you're looking for training and strengthening yourself, on the portal we added a item that says the training room. Check out the training room if you want to check out some of our past videos that we've done and learn from there as well. Don't forget, you also have the training calendar that we have on there with trainings. I'm looking at it right now. We have trainings from our lender partners. We also have trainings on how to calculate income, how to do all this stuff. And all this is really meant to boost and give you more confidence in working with customers, right? So that you understand. But again, this is stuff that you have to get good at over time. So, I expect you guys to really participate. Last thing we're going to be launching pretty soon, let you guys know ahead of time, is we are going to launch a mentorship program. It should be rolling out. We're building out the web infrastructure for it. And basically, we're going to have loan officers that are been in the season for a while, and they're going to work as mentors for you. And it's going to be a page where you could click in there and see who's mentoring and see if you want to partner up with one of the mentors to kind of help hold your hand through the process. But we want to make it in a way where you can kind of look at a menu and see which mentor might work for you, interview them, talk to them, and then you guys can work it out. But we're going to have all the rules and everything in there so that we have a nice flowing mentorship program. We don't want to just throw something up in the air and it's a disaster. We want it well organized. And we want to connect you with the right people so that you have that extra coach, that extra mentor that can help push you along the way, especially if you're a newer loan officer. With that said, thank you guys so much for participating. I'll see you next Monday. I'll email you guys the topic for next Monday. Take care. Have a good one.
Pablo,
Yes.
one more thing, really quick. Anybody out there who starts having a bad day, you're welcome to call me. Once you hear about mine, I'll snap you out of yours real quick.
All right. Thank you for that, Rachel.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I'm gonna put you on speed dial, Rachel. You're gonna
Thank you.
regret
Thank
it.
you, Rachel. Thank
Call
you,
me.
Pablo. Thank you,
Thank you.
Rachel.